everyone, today I'll be reviewing Dr. Sleep starring Ian McGregor, and this movie is directed by Mike Flanagan, and this movie is sequel to The Shining. I absolutely loved Shining movie growing up. That movie was, oh my god, it was so terrifying. Same time, that movie had such an interesting character, Jack Torrance and his son Danny Torrance and his wife. That movie has amazing premise, and those characters are still so memorable. They're amazing character. They're so interesting. Still nowadays, I think about them and it's so good. And so when Dr. Sleep, I heard is going to be a sequel to The Shining, I was so excited. But after seeing this movie, I don't know how to say this. This movie completely this movie is not bad by any mean. I really like this movie. But this movie's first half of this movie is so painfully boring. It's so slow paced. Not saying so many scenes is dragged out. You can cut them out. You can see it in your eyes. You can definitely cut them out in editing room. But this director Mike Flanagan, I don't get it. Why he made this way? This movie lost a lot of money at the box office. I see why. When it lost a lot of money, I was really confused why this movie didn't make money. I understand now why. This movie has a Rotten Fresh Tomato meter rating. Audience love it. Critics love it. And yet this movie didn't make any money at the box office. I just told you why. This movie, its characters are so boring. Especially Rebecca Ferguson, her character, oh my god, how much we have to see in her. We get the idea she's evil, you can just show her 10 minutes. The reason I was watching this movie to see Danny Torrance. His character is not much in this movie, especially first act of this movie. God, he wasn't much. And his character is I get it, he's a tragic character. He had such a traumatized childhood, I know. But come on, you should at least have some charm. I don't know, Ian McGregor, I don't think he done a good job in this movie. And the little girl, however, she did really good. Her character I enjoyed a lot. I wish she and Ian McGregor had more interaction in this movie. And Rebecca Ferguson and her group, the cult group, I really hated them, man. End of this movie, I was like, I can't take them anymore. That they just want to go away in this movie. It was really disappointing watching this movie. That being said, I really loved the last act of this movie, last half. Once this movie, once Ian McGregor and the girl, what was her name? Edith or something. They get together and they make the plan, and I thought that part of this movie was really good. I really enjoyed the last half of this movie. So I see and especially the way this movie tie up to the Shining movie, I really like those parts so much in this movie. But the first half is so boring. I don't know. It's really, but again, if I watched it on DVD, so it's okay on my couch. But can you imagine watching this in theater? The story is going nowhere, and they're not people are not here to see them. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to say this. I think Mike Flanagan, he done really awful job editing this movie, and overall, still I liked this movie, especially all the Easter egg from the Shining movie. I really liked, and Ian McGregor, he didn't do good job. I'm sorry. I think he did okay job in Birds of Prey, but oh man, Dr. Sleep, I can't believe he didn't get to show any of his charm. He's so charming actor. How could this happen? But do I think this movie, but if I compare this movie to the Shining movie, I see, you can see, anybody can see the difference. What is the big difference? The thing is, the Shining had the amazing character Jack Torrance, played by the great Jack Nicholson, who gave one of the memorable, great performance in that movie. God, he was so psycho, so scared of him. But so when you watch this movie, I really missed him in this movie. I feel oh man, I just watching this movie made me realize how much Jack Nicholson was great in that movie Shining, because Ian McGregor, he brought zero thing to in this movie. I guess a lot of people will still like this movie. I still like this movie a lot, as I said all the time. With The Shining was amazing, and this movie is too slow. It has no reason to be this much slow. And overall, I thought I still enjoyed this movie. I didn't like the steaming thing they were doing with The Shining. It was such a disappointment, and I was like, I felt like it was wasting my time. Especially first act. Come on, this movie is 2.5 hours long. How can you do this? I don't get it. Like how people gave this movie such a high rating. Because I guess, as I said, the last half of this movie is such interesting, and people who love the Shining movie, you cannot like say this is not, because especially the way it ties up that movie was so good. I see why some people will absolutely love this movie, but I must say I didn't love as much as other people, but still worth checking out if you like Shining. That's my thought on this movie. It's not as great as I hoped. If you enjoyed my review, don't forget to subscribe and please take care.